Well, an excellent start for Brentford. Ivan Toney left out of the squad, but Thomas Frank said before the game that they managed without him last season. Brian Mbumo and Johan Wissa then repaying the manager's faith. Stephen, you were at this game.
Yeah.
First of all, what did you think when you heard the news? What was the vibe in the ground? And they certainly did repay his faith.
Yeah, I think there was just an understanding that maybe they'd had a bid, or maybe there was interest in Ivan Toney, or was it the fact that they were thinking, we know we can cope without him. We haven't really had many bids, but we want to make it very clear that we're open to bids. So listen, they were very good in the game. Crystal Palace dominated at times, but with the front three that they've got, Mbumo, Wissa and Sharda, they were exceptional. Very dangerous, very quick at turnover in possessions and taking the team up the pitch. But there's no getting away from it. They're a better team with Ivan Toney in it. He does help them. But the club have got a situation now where they're looking at it thinking, do we lose a player for nothing in a year, or do we need him to not go down? And do we take that gamble on accepting no money in a year's time, but that is worth 120 million, 140 million in staying within the Premier League? And it seems to me that they've come to the conclusion as a football club that they're quite happy to let him go now and get the money for him, because from a business sense, that's what they're looking at. They're looking at it from that sense. So it's a big move from Brentford to be able to not include someone of his quality. But I'm sure Thomas Frank will still be thinking, I still want him in my squad. And he said it. He's openly said it, hasn't he? But I think it'll be the ownership behind him saying it's time to get rid.
Yeah. And I won't ask you a not joke, including Ivan Toney
No,
then,
please don't.
on this one. All right. OK, because they did bring in Thiago, didn't they? Yeah. The Brazilian forward, who's got an incredible backstory, unfortunately got injured, didn't he? So they were planning for life without him, you would think, from the outside looking in. But how does this get resolved? Because there's only 11 days to go in this window now. A week on Friday, and it will be all over. So what happens?
And that's the difficulty. I think Stephen just said it there. It's, do you think that you need him to stay in the league and be successful, but maybe having to let him go on a free, or do you sort of cash in on the money now and think that the front three, and hope that the front three that they've got, like Stephen said, were brilliant yesterday, they all stay fit and available? Because that put a spanner in the works, didn't it? Igor Thiago getting injured, and you could see that they were obviously bringing him in thinking that Ivan Toney was going to go, him getting injured out for a long period of time. That's probably made them think, do we keep him? So I suppose it all depends. Everyone's got a price, haven't they? And it maybe depends what fee comes in for Ivan Toney.
I think the addition of Fabio Carvalho as well probably changes that as well. Being able to get a player of his quality in, it enables them that, say for talking's sake, they lose Wissa to an injury or they lose Mbumo, then they can actually alter it and go Sharda and another up front, or two up front, and then you can put Carvalho in behind. They can also play Carvalho wide right, wide left. They can play him through the middle if they want to. So it now gives them options. They've got a little bit more depth in those forward areas. Sharda had a lot of injuries last year. They've got high hopes for him. He is a very exciting player. He was very good yesterday in the game. So when you take that into consideration, you've got 4 or 5 to choose from there. I think they should be fine without Ivan Toney. But as I say, listen, you'd like him in your squad. You'd like him in your team.